Well, that was kind of special, I hope, right?
I felt like I was in Star Wars.
I was trying to answer the Jeopardy question before the end of the okay.
It kind of sounded like it, didn't it? I mean, there could be, infringement there. So I didn't make it. It was just built into there, so they can sue them. Hey, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at Agents Influence Facebook/YouTube Live. I don't know where you're watching this, but we like to call it Agency Intelligence Facebook Live. And so here we are, and with the one, the only, and we also have a guest over here, but I like to say the one and only because everybody hears me on my podcast. You hear me all the time talk about Miss Kelly Donahue-Piro, and I absolutely adore her. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. I'll tell you why I can hardly talk here in a minute, and it's not because of alcohol. All right.
Were you willing to submit to a breathalyzer to confirm?
No one's around here. And then we have, if I'm correct, Stephen Harrington. Am I right about that?
Correct.
That is right. And we have him from Cross Insurance.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Well, and the diva of insurance. He's got a Hawksoft dirty data cleanup special that he works with Hawksoft clients to get your data all unfiltrified.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little maid outfit. I clean your data in the middle of the night,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are here for some exciting news, really. I mean, we're going to give some meat and potatoes like we always do every time. Kelly, when she's on the podcast, it's always one of the top 5 of the year downloaded every year. I don't even need to look because the past 3 years it has been. She always brings the meat, the potatoes. She brought Steven on for a reason because he's obviously awesome. And I'm a little bit ahead of myself. I want to let you guys know out there, whether you're a loyal listener or just someone watching out there, I am getting ready to leave for Florida literally when I get done pressing the end button here. So I'm a little bit ahead of myself. So excuse me, I'll try to calm down. But what we want to talk about is cross-selling, right?
Correct.
Isn't that what this is all about? Okay. And cross-selling, which is something agencies are incredibly weak at. Okay. And that's okay. We're not down on them. We got to know, like, self-awareness. We got to know business awareness and to know who we are. So you've got an exciting little thing that it's just rolled out that I want you to talk about, but we're also going to actually have some practical meat and potatoes. So keep that in mind. Go ahead, Kelly. Tell us a little bit about what you have coming out.
Yeah. So we officially launched yesterday our new course on how to cross-sell. And the what Jason said is true. I think a lot of times in agencies we talk about cross-selling, but we didn't give anybody tools or a plan or the confidence or support that we need to get the job done. And so we wanted to deliver that to say, hey, it's not just enough sometimes to say cross-sell. People need to know how to do it. And when we all learned about insurance, no one sat down and said, in order to get your license, there's a course, here's how to cross-sell. So I think it's a huge learning gap, and especially for people more service-minded than producers, like they want to love people and make people happy. And so the idea of cross-selling becomes very pushy to them. And we want to take that and say that's a false belief. We even in the course, one of the big things we do up front is say, we're not talking about cross-selling here. We're talking about cross-educating. Let's take the sales word out of it to just reduce some fear and concern that people have. And if we can cross-educate, we plant a garden, and that we can harvest that over the course of time.
I absolutely love that. We're gonna dig into that more. And obviously, Stephen, you feel the same way. I mean, cross-selling it is important. Obviously, you've invested your time and your money in with Kelly, and you've almost done almost all her courses. I
think I personally have done all of her courses. I think the staff at Cross Insurance has done 3 of the 4. So
okay.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, and, just so everybody knows, so Stephen is an integral part of our courses. Every one of our courses actually has a guide for Epic, AMS 360, and Hawksoft. And Stephen writes our Hawksoft guide. So included in every single course we do, this one was how to track cross-sells in your management system. Because, Jason, as you know, what you can't measure, you can't really manage. So Stephen wrote a whole guide on how to track from asks to quote to sale, so you can see your team's progression and really celebrate as they're getting wins.
Wow, that's interesting. And we will give a shout out because Hawksoft, there's a lot of great agency management systems out there, but Hawksoft is one of the elite out there. I like their family environment. I've been to their national conference, and I mean, it's a pretty cool stuff that you guys have going on out there. So anyways, you have this thing coming out, okay? Because I want everybody to know that she is a partner of Agency Intelligence, okay? That means that she has exclusive access, and we do to her a lot of times, okay? But here's what that really means. That also means that she is there to not only help us. I don't want you to just think about that, the fact that she's a partner. We actually use her at our agency. Okay. We actually subscribe to her online courses. Our team has taken it. It has been tremendous. I have to say that one of the things that I have to, before we go on about what you have, is that when you say you took the sale out of it, I notice sometimes that my team, whenever they're doing something, when they're cross-selling, they just see it part as the process now. So it takes that sale thing out. It's not like, hey, you need to sell, cross-sell. It's like, hey, these are the things that we say, you know, and I think that that's pretty awesome. But real quick, before we go on, what's this thing that you have going on out here, this class? Tell us about it. I've got all the notes here, but I want you to online.
So we have our online school, and we just dropped the next course into it. We are doing 50% off the course from now until the end of July. So it is $495. It'll go up to $1,000. You can buy it outright, and you own it forever and ever and ever. Or you can subscribe to our school and get all of our courses for $245 a month. And think of that like Netflix for insurance training. You know, like as new employees come on, you can do either or. But why I love this course is we cover quite a bit in here. It's over 400 slides of content. So some people might be like, how do you talk about cross-selling for 400 slides of content? We always start by having a leadership section, Jason. So you as the owner can say, what incentives do I provide? How do I track this? How should I talk to my team about it? Then we go into setting the philosophy of cross-selling, where we say it's cross-educating. What are the benefits? How to get over all the false beliefs, right? So, and, you know, Stephen can chime in here. The common false beliefs are, I don't have time. You know, I need to get off the phone. There's 700 things that are going on. No one has money for insurance. I don't want to be pushy. And so by asking people, I'm being pushy. We're not competitive, or I don't know anything about like life insurance. So I'm not going to ask because I don't know about it. And what if they ask me a question? And so a lot of times people kind of spool and go down that pike. And I know, Stephen, in your experience with our trainings, like you've seen some of your team confront some of those false beliefs, right?
Right. And I think that their biggest fear is they're such people pleasers. Most of the servicing agents are people pleasers. They want to get that binder done, the ID card. They want to get in and out and impress the client with how quickly they can service that one line of business. But the bigger picture is, you know, if you feel you're the best agent or you work for the best agency, why wouldn't you want all of the policies there?
Correct.
And so really breaking down those misconceptions with making them feel like they're not that sleazy car salesman or that pushy person. They're helping somebody make an educated decision on something that they need.
Yeah. Well, they would ask me if they needed it. No, they don't always recognize.
They don't know you do it.
They don't know
they don't know you do it.
They don't know you do it. You know what I mean? And they would love to know that. And Billy Williams, I hear him say your gold is in your book.
Yep.
Right? Like so much gold. If we have 1.5 to 2.5 policies per agency, wherever we're at in that. I mean, the average has what, Kelly? 5, 6, 7. It depends. A policy, some kind of.
Actually, the national average is 1.7.
1.7. Now, how much does the average client or prospect have? Would you say?
You know, I like to say 1.7 is, you know, like you're writing. I can't even get there. I like to shoot for 2.5 to 3 policies on personal lines. And you know, I was on with an agency today. I don't know if you know, like Hanover has an insight report on agencies, and yeah, so they actually break down and they said they had bumped in their retention a lot over the past year, which was awesome. But all the people leaving, it was like 86% of the people that left the agency over there were monoline.
Wow.
And not only were they monoline, but they were down to like, you know, 100, 300 limits.
And the average human has got to have what, 5, 6, 7 policies? I mean, I can sit here and think about at least 4 or 5 policies that I at least have. You know, so much we're missing from the people that we already serve.
Well, and I'll tell you one tip we do in the school is stop thinking home and auto, workers' comp, GL. Stop. And instead just ask, hey, Jason, what other policies do you have with other agents? Because you don't know. And just in doing our renewal call program, we have an agency in Iowa that asked that, and they got the opportunity to quote and bind 100 investment properties that they didn't know that the client had. So 100 investment properties just by not thinking home and auto. And so we really want to open up people's minds, because I may, you know what, my brother-in-law might have my home and I can't sleep on the couch or whatever, you know, because we take it away. But I might own businesses. Like, what do we care where the cross sell is? But when we just start asking for one policies, we're really limiting ourselves.
That's right. September 15th through the 31st, you can get half off. Now, here's the way I look at
September, July.
Sorry. 7/15 to 7/31. Let's just put it that way, so then I can't get wrong. You get 50% off. And think about this. Everybody who's watching right now, think about this. Like, this is rich, right? This has got a lot of content in it. And I'm thinking, like, what if you could get something that was rich and tasty, but it had half the calories? I mean, would you not dive into it? Would you not dive into it?
Would you not do it right now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's kind of tempting for you right now with that 75 hard. But hey, anybody else put in there? I mean, is it not rich? It's great. You need to see it because it does have course introduction. They talk about the cross-selling approach. And then last, there is bonuses inside there is cool as well. That cross-selling mortgage leads, cross-selling between departments, life insurance, umbrellas, cyber, and EPLI. Cyber, I think, would be very, very valuable and very easy in today's world with so many of the examples that are going on. Do you see that out there?
Absolutely. And I think what people need is scripts to have a starting point, Jason, like just a place to start. Then we want them to make them their own. We don't want you resounding like an insurance robot. But I know with Steven's team in particular, it was really helpful to have a starting point of like, what do I say? How do I get it out of the gate? And our hottest topic actually that people have picked up the most on is our objection killers. So we have 13 objection killers on getting a quote. So a lot of times, like, you know, I might say, hey, Steven, you know, can I quote your umbrella? Which is not the right way to ask, but I'm just saying an average situation. And he says no, and they say, okay. And I check it off and I document the file. I asked him about an umbrella. He said no. And we try to level up that standard of saying, you know, something a little different. Like, well, what about it is not appealing to you? And just going a little deeper. And then we have 13 objection killers to the quote too. So if they say your price is too high or I already paid my premium, we have all outlined exactly what to say and how to handle it so that you can convert a no into a yes.
Yeah, and I think it's anything you want to add to this, Steven?
I know from the management side, I can tell somebody like, hey, this is what we should say all day long. I mean, we can have that conversation over and over and over, but once they start seeing it as second, third, or fourth place, and that's where Kelly's programs really came in helpful, was it wasn't just me telling them that this was valuable. It was a whole nother person and a whole nother system. Right. And I didn't have the cute things all written down like she does and make the easy handouts and give it to them for their desk. And so, I mean, once those conversations started changing, I was just looking at our book of business today, and all of our personal lines team is at 2 policies per customer, which I think 2 years ago we were at like 1.4. So obviously something.
That's right. Obviously, something's working. And I got to tell you, you can call 618-532-2277. Ask for Sarah. You can ask for anybody of the team, including us, my business partner, Travis. We have greatly seen the confidence go up. And once again, I really won't say it, but someone challenged me in my office to the fact that our team, because they were veterans, would not be able to sell. And so I said to them, well, have we really given them the real training to be able to make that decision? And today we're cross-selling, but not because we're selling. We're just simply, it's part of the process. That's as true as blues as can be. She didn't pay me to say that. I paid her to teach my team. That's just the way that it is. And that's true blue stuff. Let's get anything you want to add to this. I mean, or we'll tell them where they can find this. That's important. Got to tell them that.
I want to add one thing out for agents and owners listening to this, because this is what typically happens in an agency. And if it's your agency, drop a comment, right? You're thinking to yourself, we need to cross-sell more. Or you overhear a phone call, you listen to a recorded phone call, and you're like, the person said they're taking their RV out to the mountains this weekend, and we don't have RV insurance, like face palm, right? What is my team thinking? And This happens all the time, right? And so then you go into a staff meeting and you're like, guys, we need to cross sell. Cross sell, cross sell, cross sell. And everybody goes back to their desk and they're like, cool, I'm going to go back to doing an auto ID card or taking a payment or doing an endorsement or quoting this, or somebody's mad at me about rate. I'm going to go reshop them. I'm not going to look if they're monoline, because we in insurance are super creatures of habit, right? So what I would encourage you guys to do, if you're listening to this, don't have that meeting. Don't go tell your team to cross sell, because you have just wasted 20 seconds of your breath that it will not work. Okay. Telling people to do something isn't enough. Have you ever told a teenager to clean their room? It doesn't work, right?
Nope, doesn't.
What people need is a clear plan. They need tools, they need incentives, and they need to know that you're watching and that they're allowed to fail, and they're allowed to maybe say the wrong thing, and they're allowed to scuff their knees. And they're ultimately looking for someone to be watching to give them a high five when they succeed. So you're asking many people on cross-selling to go out of their comfort zone. It's not their unique ability, but they can do it. They just need to prove to themselves that it's not as scary as they're making it out in their head.
You know what? It's so good. If you're listening to this live, you can't do it. If you're listening to the recording, back it up, because all the things that you said about providing the tools, providing the resources, there's a connection there, Kelly, and the fact that we hear this saying of, well, you should be working on your business, not in your business. But no one really explains what on your business is, right? That's what that was. What you just said, all those things are the tracking them, performing, role playing with them. One of the biggest things you can do. And you know how we know it's the biggest thing? Because it's the hardest thing to do.
It's uncomfortable.
It's the most uncomfortable thing. That is the thing. That is not the hardest thing to do, but most uncomfortable. You're right. That's good stuff.
I do want to say just, another thing that, people have this, I think, stigma about online courses, right? Like, oh, my team won't take them. And I go, you're right. Again, we're going into the telling people to do something. But our most successful agencies, and Steven's done this in his agency, you have a team meeting, you put up a video, it's 10 or 15 minutes. You open up the workbooks, you go through the discussion questions, you share, you talk about it. And so we also look at this online school as a supplement to your staff meetings so that you get absorption and discussion, not just, hey, Steven, all right, here's 400 slides of stuff to go watch online. Can you do that and then come back and cross-sell? What I equate to this is like, I've watched Gordon Ramsay make a steak on TV 15 times. I go try to make the same steak. What does it come out like? Not like Gordon Ramsay. But if Gordon Ramsay was there talking to me about it throughout the whole thing, I would have a much better success level, right? And so we have to show up in our own businesses and realize, on average, cross-sells have a 50% closing ratio. So you don't pay for the lead. You don't pay for the marketing. It takes 15 seconds to cross-educate, and it has a 50% closing ratio. So for what Jason said about, agencies need to focus on cross-selling, if you want to grow your book of business, it is the simplest and easiest way to do it. You just need to unlock the potential in your team, and that's what we're doing with this course.
And there's another thing too about this. I want to get your opinion on this. Stephen, you too, that the uncomfortable of feeling uncomfortable when you call somebody, right? And maybe you're putting in the call to them or you're talking to them. It's so funny that when I will call somebody, because I'm a human too, I'm pretty good at talking with people that maybe even don't even want to talk to me. But I want to put some the effort out there. And oh man, I lost my train of thought for what I was going to say there for a minute. My thing went ding, and I'm thinking to myself, that's how easily I can squirrel. That's how easy.
Well, you were saying that you're human, and when you make an outbound phone call and people get a little uncomfortable.
They do get uncomfortable, and it's really amazing because you can call a client that is in your office that doesn't have a line of business that you already have. Let's say you have the auto and don't have the home. You have the same feeling uncomfortableness when you're calling that person who is already giving you money and paying your electric bill. Isn't that weird? As then to somebody who you don't even know,
It's super true. And then we also find that as people get better and better at doing it, they're like, oh, you do that? Oh, yeah, you could do that? Because they really don't even like the other agent. They're just lazy or whatnot. Or what ends up happening is, if they go find, say they're, buying a new home and they go get another insurance agent, that agent's going to ask for the auto and we lose a policy. Like, there's a whole game to it where there's two ways. There's two things that happen in cross-selling. Either you screw up or the other agent screws up. And by the way, insurance, there's tons of screw ups every day, whether it be the carrier. I saw what you posted on the Facebook group about like service centers and on hold times. Like something happens, right? The client screws up, you screw up, the carrier screws up, something happens. It's a race between you or the other agent does it first, or it's who asks first. And so if we can go ahead and ask first and we can have the least amount of screw ups, we can grow pretty significantly, bump our retention rate and our premium and revenue just by cross-selling.
Role playing. It's
Role
vital.
playing is very important.
It's the most important thing. Steven, you got anything on role playing?
Well, like Kelly was saying, during our team meetings, we were watching the videos and doing some of the things that were recommended. We also went through and everybody had to share a success and a struggle. So it wasn't an option. You had to have something that you needed help with or that you were struggling with and something that went really well. And we created a Teams channel for successes. So now everybody's reading back and forth what other people were trying, and it's kind of funny. I literally just got a pop-up that said, so I decided to use Zoom for the first time to do an account review with a customer. It was so successful, I increased their limit, sold an umbrella, and got them thinking about earthquake.
Wow.
And this is somebody that 6 months ago was deathly afraid to,
Yeah,
like, I can't do that. They're not going to like me if I talk to them about that. What, I'm like, do they need the product? Like, why are we struggling?
We had an agency report to me this morning. They had their highest umbrella sales ever, 39 umbrellas sold last month.
39 umbrellas. Now let's talk about this real quick. How the role playing is huge, but you just got me thinking about something I was thinking about earlier. What about incentives? Are you changing incentives for someone to reach the 39 umbrella? Because they are making that part of the conversation. They are taking on extra work that grows the agency. What's that look like, Kelly?
Well, I want to say this on role playing. So in the school, Steven's also my role play victim. So what happens is you will see videos of him and I role playing out the scenario, so you hear both sides. So Steven is not only hawks off, but he helps us with role playing too. And he will be at Brain Share in case anyone wants to meet the diva of insurance.
Boom, boom.
But as far as incentives, so we have a whole section in our leadership guide. I'm going to be really honest with you. The biggest incentive that the team has is not something they're going to verbalize, but it's recognition. And so if you can verbally recognize and you can see someone asked, and that's why the tracking to me is super important. And we spend some time saying, don't move on until you get your tracking down pat. Because if you can watch people go from 0 asks to 10 asks to 20 asks, you'll start to see the sales come from that, no doubt. But sometimes people need to be recognized. Like Stevens has said, she couldn't even say hello to her own shadow. So when they start asking, the manager has to step in and say, awesome job. You just killed it. Great job. High five, because that's positive recognition to keep moving forward. Most account managers are not money motivated. So you have a problem that you have to solve, because agency owners are money motivated. So our instinct is to give them $20. And they're like, well, great. That goes towards my kid's soccer cleats. Or the credit card bill, or it gets lumped in. I get it 6 weeks later in my paycheck after taxes are taken out. I don't even see it, and it's been spent the day I get paid. That's not that's not incentivizing. But if you can recognize them and do on the spot for people struggling is the best. Like, hey, I'm buying you lunch today. Hey, here's an Amazon gift card. On the spot. Until it's a habit, that's your best bet.
Right. And you know what? 1 second, Steven, because I don't, as you know, I don't have a long memory here. Teams in Slack make that so easy.
Yes.
Right. Like giving the face-to-face through me. I have 3 agencies. They're each 70 miles apart. Right. I can hit that person on a chat on a team and say, hey, I noticed this and da-da-da-da. And then I'll go back out to the team chat of where everybody sees it and say, hey, look what I found. I was digging in the numbers and I noticed something. I looked further and look what this person is doing. And recognition is absolutely huge. Sometimes I feel as if I do it too much because I appreciate my team so much. Steven, I cut you off. I apologize.
You're good. I was just going to say, when we first started the program, I could have cared less if there was a single cross sell. I was looking for the ask or the start of the conversation. So what we did was we had like a scoreboard that went at the top of our Hawksoft every week for our weekly meeting with Kelly, or the off week without Kelly. And it was the top 3 people that had the most asks. It didn't have anything to do with actually closing anything, or it was how many times did you ask during a week? than it was how many times did you ask during an account review? How many times did you ask from an incoming call? Like, we started breaking it up into different ways because they were all doing one. Then we had to add, oh, did you know you could do it this way? Did you know you could do it this way? So, I mean, literally just rewarding or recognizing just the ask at the beginning was huge for a lot of the staff, because they were like, well, I want to be at the top. I want to be number one.
And I will say this, Cross Insurance has done a lot of work on their culture in the past 3 years, as Stephen knows. We do have agencies where we'll go in and you'll be on fire. You'll be like, guys, we're going to do this. It's going to be amazing. And then people sit there. And that's how the whole meeting goes. And I work with some people like that currently. And what I'm going to tell you is, like, if you have a culture problem, you need to take massive action. And I'm saying this because I get called in when agencies have a culture problem. It's massive action. Do not put up with people who do not want to be on your team. I know hiring is hard in insurance, but there's a million ways to solve that problem if you're committed. But walking in every day to people who aren't on the same path as your mission, you got to give them a swift kick in the pants. And if they don't pick up what you're putting down, you got to move on.
That's right.
I mean, I say this like I'm a chiseled war veteran on this, of walking into an agency and be like, boom, boom, boom. Those 4 people aren't going to last past 30 days if we're doing this right. And
boom,
because,
boom.
yeah, you can't sit in a meeting and be unprofessional. Like, we are a professional industry. And when people sit in a meeting and they say, I don't have any successes. I'm like, yeah, you're saying that to your agency. You're telling the person signing your paycheck you did nothing successful this week. That's a good career move. That's solid.
You know what I like to say? If you can't change your people, come on now. Change your people. Woo, I love it. I love it. I heard that a long time ago. I don't know who I stole it from.
You're gonna work so harder trying to get things done than they're ever gonna work for you. And if you find the right people, it is amazing the difference that you will see within 30 days.
Yep. Sarah Nicholas. She might be watching, just so she gets a shout out. So yes, that's good stuff. Recognition is huge. It's so funny. And sometimes maybe you're not good at giving the recognition. It's important to find someone on your team, usually someone maybe in a superior position, maybe not, but someone that kind of points that out to the rest of the team that allows you to play into it if you don't feel comfortable. Some leaders just don't feel comfortable giving people recognition. It's weird, but they're out.
By the way, that's me. I am not good at recognition. I have a calendar reminder that, like, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, who do I need to recognize today? Who's doing a good job? It's like my gratitude journal. Like, I have to be that regimented on it, because in my mind, go on to the next thing, do this. Like, unless you blow my socks off, then like I'll buy you a Hawaiian vacation because I was so impressed. But like the middle line, I'm not good at. And so I have to be super intentional on that. And I know that about myself. And I have to put up safeguards on it.
What would one need to do to get the Hawaiian vacation? I don't know. Steven and I are over here thinking like, damn, this is a good offer.
Ready.
Well, I think if we get 10 of your viewers to sign up for the school, we can. I'm going there in November, so we'll see if we can tack you guys on.
10, okay. I can find 10, including my employees. No, I'm joking. So no. And this is per agency, right? This if you get it at $4.99, which is 50% off, or even
other, for the whole agency. The whole agency
for unlimited time, like you just get it.
They get it. They own it. They can watch it 10 years from now if they're feeling feisty.
Woo! Work it. Okay, I love it. I love it a lot. I really, truly do. Anything else you wanna say before we close up? I think we gave a lot. We said what we were gonna do. We talked about this. Just keep in mind, everybody listening, and this is also going to go. We're going to roll it out on a podcast, so that's why I keep saying loyal listeners every once in a while. That'll be, once again, it is July 15th. To July 31st. Today is July 16th, so that means that this half off calories. I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you. But also, I want to just throw this out real quick, because you talked about tracking, but I want to say real quick to anybody watching, this is tracking in AMS 360.
AMS 360, Hawksoft,
and Hawksoft. Man, you would never know I'm a podcast host. I'll tell you that.
That's okay. I will say this. The only reason we have those three is that that's the ones that we have found outside third-party trainers too, that have test databases that they can record. So EasyLinks, I've not been able to locate a third-party trainer that can do it. TAM is kind of, retiring off the scene, so we don't have that. But Easy Links is the other one that, what I would say is it's just a series of labels or tags on your activities. But, the idea is that you got to measure it. I don't even care, Jason, if they use a spreadsheet, or
That's right.
Teams. They just put in Teams and have a VA calculate it. It doesn't matter. You could keep it simple. But the idea is you want to be able to recognize and celebrate and make a big deal out of it. I think for every agency watching out there or listening, everybody wants to cross-sell more, but we get so focused on marketing and new business. And I'm like, if I bought an agency, I swear to God, I say this to Stephen all the time, I would shut the doors to any new business for about 1.5 years and just cross-sell the book.
I bet. Have you ever thought about buying an agency?
My husband asks me that all the time, but I don't think my clients would love the fact that I was a competitor, but I use it as leverage because I'm always like, what if I opened an agency from scratch across the street from yours? Would you be pissed or scared? And they'd be like, oh my God, I'd be really upset. I'm like, so let's get your act together so I don't do that. Let's go do it, like I will, if that's what it takes for you to get your house in order, I will open, there's cents for rent over there. I'll go get it. And I'll park my butt here for 1 year and see what I can do,
Wow, that would be interesting. There's some agents listening right now. I'm like, I'm going to take her up on her offer. I want her to start up next to me. Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, there's a lot to learn from you, and rising tide rises all ships. So different way of looking at it, but that'd be awesome. One hell of a thing. Anyways, I really appreciate you, Stephen. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to say, bro?
The only thing I can think is consistency is what it takes. You need to be consistent, hold people accountable, and you have to know what you're starting with so you know what the base point was. So get it clean, train it, track it, hold people accountable.
Yes, Michael, I did say AMS 360 and Teresa Kitchens. Oh man.
Well, I will say this, Michael Trulion's in here. He did our AMS 360 guide on how to track cross sells. So Mike, thanks for saying hi. But he was our AMS 360 trainer for this section.
Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah, we've got another one here. APP is the real deal.
Oh, hi, Dana.
Yeah, look at that. Mm-hmm. Yep. I tell you.
Think she loved me, but she loves this.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to see everybody as new school seat users. Anybody's got any questions, go to the website agencyperformancepartners.com or find me on social media, or even if you post in Jason's mastermind group, I'm in there, so I can happy to talk to anybody.
She's in the mastermind group. Yeah. I know.
And I'll be in San Antonio.
San Antonio, in beautiful San Antonio, Texas.
Gorgeous San Antonio.
Gorgeous San Antonio along the Riverwalk. Are you going to be done by that with the 75 hard by then?
I might be in phase 1 or 2. We'll see.
Okay.
I can stay strong. I'm still fun without booze.
No, I know, but it's what. That's true.
Listen, I got a big goal. I turned 40 in November when I'm going to Hawaii. So we're having a big goal to hit for the fitness challenge side of my life. So
I'm so excited, man. Some of the people, Jay, I can't say his name, Bunty, he just did his, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Like, he was already in shape.
Yeah.
And then he did his, and now it's like, I'm like, holy crap, that's what I looked like when I was in high school. Not all the muscle, but that skinny, and that thin. So
I lost 12 pounds in 4 weeks.
Good for you, Kelly. Good for you. Skin feeling better and stuff.
Apparently, just not drinking cuts down a lot of unnecessary calories. And working out twice a day also helps. Like, for 75 days straight, you got to do 2 workouts a day. So who knew it was that simple?
Wow. Man. It's all you. It's all you. Hey, I appreciate. Thank you very much once again for all you loyal listeners. If you're listening to this, or for all you live people, there may be some of you that are fading off. What's really weird is we've got a lot of comments. I don't know if the counter is exactly correct, but the point is whenever you're listening to this, maybe it's 10 o'clock at night, maybe it's in the car, or you're working out. We greatly appreciate you here at Agency Intelligence. We really, truly do. We try to put out the best stuff that we possibly can. We try to get people like Stephen and Kelly into your ear to try to make you challenge the norms. That's what I always like to say. And I'll end it with what I always say at Agents Influence. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas. And Kelly, Stephen, me, we're going to tell the world what you have to say. We're out. BB. I don't know if this. Oh my. Oh